Welcome to São Paulo, Brazil, and Interlagos, the venue for round 5 of the FIA World Endurance Championship 2025. After a hugely successful return to Brazil last year, the fans have come out in even greater numbers to see this year's contenders. Interlagos is the shortest circuit on the calendar and as such produces frenetic racing. The 2024 encounter was a classic and everything is shaping up to be even more exciting in 2025. And São Paulo generates a carnival atmosphere like nowhere else. Just one short month after Le Mans, we're heading into the second half of this year's championship. From Brazil, there's a short summer break, and then Texas, Japan and Bahrain. Everything is still up for grabs, and the crowds cannot wait to see the action unfold in Interlagos. The locals were delighted after qualifying. In LMGT3, it was the hometown hero, Eduardo Barrichello's astonishing lap that put the number 10 Aston Martin on pole position. And for the second race in a row, it was Alex Lynn who topped the times in Hyperpole. It will be Hertz Team Jota who start from first position on the grid.
Nossos bosques têm mais vida, nossa vida no teu seio, mais amores. Ó pátria amada, idolatrada, salve, salve. Brasil de amor eterno, seja símbolo. O lábaro que ostentas estrelado. E digo verde louro dessa flâmula. Paz no futuro e glória no passado. Mas se ergues a justiça, a clava forte, verás que um filho teu não foge à luta, nem teme quem te adora, a própria morte derradora. Entre outras mil és tu, Brasil, ó pátria amada. Dos filhos deste solo és mãe gentil, pátria amada, Brasil.
A stunning rendition of the Brazilian national anthem. Over 84,000 fans packing Interlagos as the teams prepare for battle.
Drivers, start your engine.
Green flag, start of the formation lap.
We are ready for the Rolex 6 Hours of São Paulo. The lights are out and we are racing in Brazil. Will Stevens on pole position, the gold nose of the Cadillac leading from Julian Andlauer, who started on the outside of the front row. They go too wide down through the centre S's. Bamber in the second caddy, challenging the Porsche for second, doesn't get through. Right behind him, the white nose of the Peugeot of Loic Duval, looking very feisty. As the leaders plunge down through the center S's, there's no contact, no major dramas, a nice clean start in Hypercar. And look at Bamber trying to go around the outside. The caddies were 1-2 in qualifying, but then had a slight penalty to drop them back to third on the grid. In LMGT3, it is the pole-sitting Aston Martin that takes the lead. Tony McIntosh, not only a rookie in the World Championship, but in his first drive ever here in Brazil. Little more confusion further back. The Iron Dames are off, Ben Keating's Corvette is off. Right behind him, Thomas Floor in the silver Ferrari and the 46 BMW running out wide as well. Challenge for the lead from Julian Andlauer, halfway round lap one. The Porsche's on the inside, he's got the grip to spare. Through 6 and 7, a change of lead on the first lap. The Porsche's tyres have got the grip, the Cadillacs have not. Right behind, Peugeot's 4th and 5th. What a great start to the race for the Peugeots. And Will Stevens under threat from behind. Bamber's trying to come by for second place. Bamber in the 38 Hertz Team Jota caddy, doesn't get through. Tony McIntosh leads in GT3 behind the orange McLaren, Darren Leung, then Petru Umbrarescu and Finn Gersitz in the 2 Lexus cars, and James Cottingham's McLaren in 5th position. Sao Paulo last year saw McLaren claim their first ever World Endurance Championship podium. Looks like they might be in with a shot of doing the same again, but the Brazilian fans will be thrilled as the battle rages behind. Look at this, Petru Umbrarescu ahead of Darren Leung. Leung qualified 5th, he got up to 2nd at the start, pushed back down to 3rd as the Lexus duo start to make their moves. On board with Fred Makovic in the Alpine, and right down the inside of him in the dirt, Marco Sorensen in the 009 Aston Martin Valkyrie. They're just behind the 10th place Toyota. That was very close to the pit wall. Sorensen fully committed to go by the Alpine. Let's take a look again on the dirt, almost rubbing paint on the wall there, but he got it done. Looking back from the Aston Martin as he challenges Brendan Hartley in the number 8 Toyota. Toyota locked out the front row here last year and won the race. What a change in fortune for them, and Aston Martin's season getting stronger and stronger as the rolling balance of performance from the season starts to favour them. Toyota clinging on to a point early on, but they are not looking competitive here this year. Look at the 99 Proton Porsche going around the outside of Makovic as well. That's a great start from Nico Pino. Makovic holding the inside line. But that white and green Proton Porsche looking more competitive than it has done for much of this season. Battle for 7th place. This is Kevin Magnussen under threat from Lawrence Vantor in the number 6 Porsche. And Vantor on the inside as they climb the hill, this long curving bend all the way up to the start-finish line. And Magnussen's heading for the pit lane. This is less than 10 minutes into the race. This is a major drama for BMW's Hypercar program. Ferrari struggling after a victory at Le Mans for a 3rd consecutive season. Number 50 car down in 14th place. Miguel Molina fighting through traffic to hold off his own teammate, the championship leading 51 car, on board with James Collado. It's going to be a tough weekend here for the Ferraris. The only one currently in the points is the yellow privateer number 83 car that finished 1st place at Le Mans and is now 2nd in the drivers' standings. Here's the change for the lead in LMGT3. Tony McIntosh under pressure. Petru Umbrarescu's Lexus slips through to take the lead. Here comes the challenge for 2nd place now. Stefano Gattuso in the blue and white Ford Mustang, run by Proton Competition. Last year, such a struggle here in Sao Paulo. Now in a potential podium spot, and trouble-free and James, the heart of racing Aston Martin has gone around. You can see he's firing the car up. What happens? Oh, tiniest of contact. I think that was Ben Keating's Corvette. Yes, it was. And he and James losing ground. Battle for 10th in Hypercar in traffic. Brendan Hartley around the outside, runs out very wide onto the dirt. Fred McAveeky is challenging him. He had the tighter, cleaner inside line, but Hartley defends nicely down to turn 4. No way through for the Alpine, not yet anyway. Now they start the climb up to the double right-handers at 6 and 7, but Hartley, with muck all over the tyres, will be a little shy on grip. In this middle section of the track though, so hard to pass. Hard even for these hypercars to get by. The LMGT3 cars, Mako shows his nose, has to take to the curbs to avoid contact, and his teammate is right behind. Through traffic they weave. Hartley, the black car, the two Alpines, McAveeky having to go off on the inside there to get the run and avoid the traffic. He's coming through on the inside, and Ferdy Habsburg in the second Alpine is trying to follow him through. I don't think Hartley's going to leave the door open. He doesn't. McAveeky up to 10th, Hartley down to 11th, and here comes Ferdy Habsburg with the white Porsche of Nico Pino right behind. Hartley is struggling here.
Reduce the risk level.
Well, maybe he's not struggling. On board with Fred McAveeky, this is the replay, avoiding traffic to go underneath Brendan Hartley. And Nico Pino's gone by Hartley, and here comes the number 50 Ferrari as well on the inside. And looks like Brendan Hartley is reducing the risk as much as possible. If somebody comes calling, he's not going to fight them too hard. They're playing a long game as ever, Toyota. They don't have the pace to run at the front of the field. Into the pits, Ferdy Habsburg. This is an unexpected call, the second of the race. First it was the number 15 BMW, now the 35 Alpine. Will Stevens, 12 Hertz Team Jota, in for a penalty for incorrect tyre pressures. And is it all over for Alpine?
We had a slight issue with the hybrid. So as you can hear, we're about to start up again to try to get it out on track. But, you know, the systems are complicated in these cars, and we had an issue in pre-practice already that we thought we'd fix, but clearly not quite, and it's a bit concerning, so we're going to try to get out and fix it because we still have a few races overseas.
First round of stops for LMGT3, everybody coming in for fuel and tyres. All of these are two-car teams, and traditionally at the first stop, one will stop a lap earlier than required, so they're not double stacked in the pit lane. Now, driver change here at the number 31 BMW, started by bronze driver Yasser Shaheen, but that is local hero Augusto Farfus taking over now. Usually the bronze drivers try and do their minimum drive time all in one go. Into the pit lane, Aston Martin and Toyota, 007 and the 7. Both of them outside the points at the moment. Both Astons with just two drivers this weekend, so they're doing single stints. Loic Duval stays in the 94 Peugeot, and Peugeot going very strongly here.
This is my first visit to South America, so it's been a great experience so far, and as you said, the race is currently running smoothly. Loic managed to make a clean start, which is the most important, and then the Cadillac had a penalty, so we moved up one position, and I mean now there's still, 5 hours to go, so it's going to be a very long race, but I look forward to jumping in the car.
Race leader in, Julian Andlauer in the number 5 Porsche Penske Motorsport 963, cleaning out the rubber build-up in the cooling ducts. He's taking on a new drinks bottle. In from the lead, Earl Bamber, 38 Cadillac, inherited the lead as the Porsche stopped. That will cycle back. Here we are, almost at the 1 hour mark. The 51 Ferrari, the championship points leaders, being lapped by Julian Andlauer in the number 5 Porsche. Don't forget, Ferrari have won all 4 races so far this season. Doesn't look like they're going to make it 5 in a row. They are lacking pace here in Brazil. Battle for 4th place here in LMGT3. Orange and black McLaren of James Cottingham behind the pink and white Iron Dames Porsche of Celia Martana. This is her first race in Interlagos. She's new to the team this year, but having a really good second stint, clawing her way closer to the top 3. Really growing in stature in this team, Celia Martin. There's Rahel Frey, her teammate. Martin down the inside. Up to 4th place, that was clean and clinical. James Cossingham had no answer to the Porsche right there, but she slides wide down through the centre S's. The 99 Proton Porsche trying to find a way by. On board with Martin, watch the hands. As the car goes like a little bit of sideways, but she held it nicely. Looking back at the 31 BMW, and this is a change now for 7th place. Darren Leung in that McLaren being passed by Augusto Farfus, and coming up behind him in the 81 TF Sport car, that's Tom Van Rompuy. Now, Van Rompuy and Leung are both bronze-graded drivers. Augusto Farfus, though, is a platinum. There's the TF Sport garage watching. Down the inside, Tom Van Rompuy takes advantage of the Peugeot coming up the inside of these 2 LMGT3 cars. Oh, and there's drama for the number 10 Racing Spirit of Lemon Aston Martin. Tony McIntosh looped around. Now, was that on his own? Here we are, turn 4. McIntosh on the inside. Augusto Farfus going around the outside. I think McIntosh possibly just spinning out there, trying to avoid contact. It's cost him time, but no damage.
He's starting to struggle also. It will come to us. We can stabilize the car with a bar, we can go more stable with bars and compensate with yellow Charlie.
So Lawrence Vantor's engineer telling him that the car in front is going to struggle on tyres. That's Mikkel Jensen's Peugeot, and encouraging him in how to make this car, the Porsche, handle its own tyres better. Oh, trouble for the championship leaders in LMGT3. That's the 92 Porsche, and that is Ryan Hardwick. Now, what's happened there? Replay down here at turn 11 and 12. Brendan Hartley also coming back from off track. So maybe there was just some confusion in traffic. Lexus 1-2 in LMGT3. Finn Gersitz ahead of Petru Umbrarescu. Gersitz is a higher graded driver. Umbrarescu is a bronze. First time here in Brazil for both these drivers. Maxime Martin in 3rd in the Mercedes.
When you get close, you can answer little calls to show it, get past quickly.
Well, the message there from Miguel Molina's engineer is don't burn up your tyre advantage sitting behind the number 7 Toyota of Mike Conway. He's also got number 51 James Collado right behind him. So lots of work for Miguel Molina to do here. Here's the challenge on Mikkel Jensen from Lawrence Vantor. Is he going to be able to try something here this lap at turn 4? No, not quite. The Aston Martin behind is a lap back. Replay here. Big lock up there from Lawrence Vantor, in contact with the Peugeot as well. He's getting frustrated here. Taps the back of the Peugeot, luckily in a straight line, so he didn't spin it out. And this is part of the frustration for Vantor. Look at this, around the outside, but great defense by Mikkel Jensen.
It's still a long race, but we have to get by. We're losing quite a lot of ground to the front, but yeah, that's the way it is. Peugeot is strong in the straight and they are using it, so we have to find a way.
Hard work for Lawrence Vantor here in traffic behind one of the Lexus cars. He's got the run around the inside, then around the outside, and that's all it takes sometimes. Mikkel Jensen getting held up by the Lexus in traffic, and Vantor got the run around the outside. He moves up to 5th place. Well, here it is. You can see Jensen pinched in by the Lexus. Not intentionally, that's just how it happened. Looking back from Celia Martin, 5th place for the Iron Dames Porsche, and behind her, boy, there's some talent in those BMWs, Augusto Farfus and Kelvin van der Linde. This is not really an equal fight. Farfus and van der Linde, both much more experienced and higher graded drivers than Celia Martin. She's going to be doing a lot of work shortly to hold off those 2 BMWs. Another battle in LMGT3, Bernardo Souza with the white nose, the 77 Mustang, trying to come around him. Francois Heriot only lost the lead, the 21 Ferrari crew of the championship at Le Mans, as the 92 Porsche claimed victory there. At the moment, the 21 car in 13th, scoring 0 points, and the 92 Porsche in 15th, also not scoring. This is a tight, old-school track into Lagos, very close racing. And this is where Heriot just managed to squeeze through. Here come the caddies. Leader Julian Andlauer in the red and white Porsche under real threat now from Earl Bamber. Can't quite complete the move there as they hit traffic. Now he's on the inside. Bamber in the gold-nosed Hertz Team Chaser Cadillac still can't get through. Right behind him, teammate Will Stevens on board with Bamber. Oh, and Andlauer just cleared the traffic in time. Bamber looks down into turn 4. Little lock up there. He's going to run out wide. He does. And Will Stevens pounces. He moves up into second place. But Stevens running low on energy. This will be his in-lap, so he's not going to affect this battle too much. You can see how the Porsche is really under pressure. Look again as Bamber runs a little wide. Stevens wastes no time in going through. Time lost now might cost you positions at the end. Into the pit lane from second place comes Will Stevens, out of sync with the others after that early penalty. Bamber now back into the attack on Julian Andlauer. Number 12 receives service.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bit more of a chaotic start to the race than I was hoping for. Obviously, we had a penalty for pressures being a bit low, so I think we just need to investigate what happened there and why that was the case. So it offset us with a drive-through and having to change tyres. So the fact we could finish the stint on the right on the tail of Earl and the Porsche, I think is a good sign. We've got a lot of pace in this car. We just need to try and have a clean race to the end. We know we have the speed. We just need to work our way to the front.
On board with Earl Bamber, the challenge for the lead. Down the inside, still defending hard, Julian Andlauer, but Bamber around on the racing line. Down into turn 2, he's got himself in front. Pit stop for the Alpine completed, and it will be time for fuel for everybody now. In and out the number 50 Ferrari. Nick Nielsen taking over from Miguel Molina. Kevin Est leaping into action to take over from Lawrence Vantor. This Porsche, one of 7 cars in Hypercar with just 2 drivers. Various other competing championships have taken others away. There's our Le Mans winners, the 83 Ferrari, still just about in the top 10. Jenson Button takes over from Earl Bamber. That's the number 38 Cadillac, comes in from the lead. Hands the lead for the first time to the number 20 BMW of René Rast. Back out on track, the number 12 caddy, Alex Lynn at the wheel, the man who claimed pole. He leads, and out into second place comes Jenson Button, the number 38 Cadillac. Caddies are 1-2. Iron Dames, Rahul Fry chasing Ben Keating in the 33 Corvette for 4th place. Looks late down the inside into turn 1, and Keating's got no defense against that. Good move by Rahul Fry. The 33 Corvette, Ben Keating back in, having done a single stint at the start. Did pick up a penalty for turning around Ian James, and there's another Aston facing the wrong way, 007. Now what has happened here? This is Harry Tinknell, and inside Francesco Castellacci's LMGT3 Ferrari had to take to the curbs and the grass on the inside to avoid major dramas. Oh, there was contact, but it wasn't as big as it could have been.
And there will be intervention at T4 and T12, so Marshall on track at T4 and T12. Before the full course yellow, we were 15 seconds in front of Jenson, 15 seconds in front of Jenson, but Jenson is on 4 new tires, 4 new.
Well, this is a first, a kite being rescued to bring out a full course yellow.
Hopefully the weather and everything will come a little bit our way, so we'll be able to fight for a better position, but yeah, still a long way to go. I fully believe on Michael to maybe grab a position now, and yeah, let's see what we can do.
Back to green, here comes Michael. Michael Christensen in the red and white Porsche chasing Jenson Button, but down to turn 4. Button manages to put the second place LMGT3 Lexus between the two of them. He gets through more cleanly, so Christensen has to work a little harder now to try and catch Jenson. But as the weather changes and the tyres wear, the balance of performance between these cars always is in flux. Great LMGT3 battle here. And this is Amadel Harty, the 46 BMW, the yellow Corvette of Rui Andrade, and then the orange and black McLaren of Sebastian Boe. So the battle for 6th place, all 3 cars involved. LMGT3 still very much up for grabs, even though Lexus are 1-2. Kelvin Van der Linde, another of the drivers in the 46 BMW watching on, but Rui Andrade down the inside. That was a nice clean move. Rui Andrade moves himself up into the top 6. Sebastian Boe in the McLaren also having a look at the back of the BMW. You can see the other Corvette, the 33 car, only just in front. So all of these battles opening up and closing down. And down the inside into turn 4, Sebastian Boe makes no mistakes there, drifts out a little wide, but that will just give him good momentum up the hill. On board with the TF Sport car, Rui Andrade. Here's the view into the really steeply banked turn 1 of the Senna S's. And again, on the inside at turn 4, another classic Interlagos passing place. Drama for 88. This is the Mustang. Well, they've had a bit of a problem already. They're right at the tail of the field. Gianmarco Leverato has brought the car back in. Corvette's changing place. Rui Andrade goes by Ben Keating. Well, Ben Keating, bronze-graded driver between 2 silvers. Rui Andrade's gone by. Sebastian Boe comes calling as well. And Keating defending. Oh, contact with the 50 Ferrari. Something flew off the Ferrari. I'm sure there was a touch there with Keating's yellow Corvette. Sebastian Boe couldn't get through. I think Keating moved out to defend. Clearly did not see that the hypercar was coming by as well. Full course yellow for debris. That is the bit of broken Ferrari being collected.
Full course yellow removed.
Back to green. Martin Berry in front of us for 3rd place. Rahal Fry releases the speed limiter very quickly and gets ahead of the AMG Mercedes. The Iron Dames up to 3rd. That was very good restarting. Excellent reactions from Rahal Fry. There's the experience. Now then, number 10 Aston Martin ahead of the 33 Corvette. So the pole-sitting Aston up to 7th place now. Ben Keating down to 8th. And here's the moment it happened. Keating ran out wide, and Eduardo Barrichello, I'm sure, receiving big cheers from the crowd as he moves up a spot. 50 Ferrari stopping to replace the damaged right rear corner, so the entire rear section comes off and goes on. Straightforward fix, once you've kicked it into place, obviously. But more time lost. No pace, and not much luck either for the number 50 Ferrari. In front of the packed grandstands, here comes Eduardo Barrichello around the outside of Sebastian Boe. This is the battle for 6th. In fact, it will be the battle for 4th, because Lexus and the 61 Mercedes have both just pitted. The Brazilian couldn't get through there, and there's no question he'll try again. In from the lead, the Iron Dames, Rahal Fry pits. And that will cycle the Lexus of Clement Schmidt back to the top of the pile. But they're under investigation. Seems Jose Maria Lopez may have been speeding coming into the pit lane in the 87 car. Codis ASP have really transformed this Lexus from this time last year, where the Lexus and actually the Ford Mustangs that are currently in 2nd place were absolutely struggling. Now they're right at the front of the field, and there is the 77 Ford Mustang, 2nd place. Could there be a podium on the cards? What a great result that would be. Into the pit lane comes the Peugeot. This is the 94 car. Both the Peugeots slightly out of sequence with most of the front runners in terms of fuel. Drive-through penalty, that speeding confirmed. The race-leading Lexus is coming through the pit lane, and that will dent their lead. That might have cost them the lead, except the 77 Ford Mustang has pitted, and their sister car, 78, a little too far behind. Despite that penalty, 87 will retain the lead in LMGT3. When things are going right, they go right, don't they? Halfway through the 6 hours of São Paulo, Cadillac Hertz Team Jota leading, Porsche Penske Motorsport 2nd and 3rd ahead of the number 12 Cadillac. Everything still up for grabs in the top half dozen. And in LMGT3, Lexus 1-2, the Iron Dames, Racing Spirit Le Mans, the Corvettes and the McLarens all looking like threats for a podium finish. Race leader in the pits, Jenson Button in the 38 Caddy, and of course this Interlagos track, so pivotal in his career. This is where he became the 2009 Formula One World Champion. Could he win again here? Battle for 8th place in LMGT3, this 92 Porsche Ricardo Pera, the championship leader, slipping inside the McLaren of Sean Gelael. And any points now for the 92 team are really going to help them. Their closest rivals, the 21 Ferrari, a long way back, and another McLaren under pressure. That is Kelvin van der Linde in the 46 BMW, taking 6th place away from Sebastian Boe in the orange and black McLaren. And van der Linde chilled out watching his teammates earlier, now hard at it behind the wheel. Replay here of Sean Gelael being passed by Danny Juncadella. Juncadella, the top graded driver in the 33 Corvette. So again, we're seeing different driving abilities in these cars. Juncadella now past Ricardo Pera in the 92 Porsche. So he's caught and passed him very quickly. He's going around the outside of Sebastian Boe as well. And they come to a near dead halt as they argue over the same bit of turf. And that allows the turquoise and black first form Porsche of Ricardo Pera to get his nose stuck in, and he too goes by the McLaren. And that's what happens sometimes. If you argue too long, you lose more than you thought you might. Battle for second in LMGT3. Yuichi Nakayama is the first of these two cars in the Lexus. And right behind the pink and white Rahal Frazier, it's a great run on the inside. Little bit of contact. Nakayama didn't want to be passed there. But Fry is all over the back of him. She's going to have another look as well. Through on the inside this time, out of turn 12. And that will give her the big run up the hill. Driver change, out gets van der Linde, back in gets Valentino Rossi. So they're cycling their drivers through stint by stint here. Rahal Fry hands over to Michelle Gatting, driving with a broken foot. Michelle, she had to miss Le Mans after the car was dropped on her foot during pit stop practice in the test weekend.
We have a bit more than 2 hours to go. Michelle now is in the car. She's doing amazing because she has to catch up. She was missing Le Mans. Now she's super motivated, and I'm pretty convinced that today we're going to have a strong result.
Great battle here for the Aston Martin of Alex Riberas. 2 Toyotas behind him. Nick de Vries, number 7, goes through on the inside. Look as we ride with Ryo Hirakawa in car number 8. Number 8 again without Sebastian Buemi, so it's a true driver lineup in the 8 car this weekend. Alex Riberas in the Aston Martin Valkyrie. And at the moment, the Toyotas are swarming around him. This is for 13th place. Still no sniff of a point for either of the Toyotas that dominated here a year ago. But around the outside of the Valkyrie, Hirakawa has the grip and just about manages to squeeze in front as they catch one of the LMGT3 Corvettes. Loic Duval back into the 94 Peugeot, taking over again from Malte Jakobsen. Both Peugeots down to a 2-driver lineup, and on this anti-clockwise circuit, which strains the body in very different ways to normal clockwise circuits, that is having its toll. 36 Alpine in for a stop. Jules Gounon has handed over to Mick Schumacher, and both Alpines were in the top half dozen, battling hard in hour 1. Into the final 2 hours, though, they have faded dramatically. 7th place, the 99 white Proton Porsche, and along the pit wall comes Antonio Giovinazzi, squeezes down the inside of Neil Jarni. Jarni tried to keep the door closed. Giovinazzi was not to be denied. On board with Giovi. Oh, he has to breathe off the throttle there. He's not sure whether the door's going to stay ajar or not. In the pits from the lead, number 12 Cadillac, Alex Lynn handing over for the final couple of stints to Norman Nato. So that cycles the 38 car back up into the lead, and this car still on a different fuel strategy to the others after that early penalty for tyre pressure infringement. Number 6 Porsche, can they finish on the podium here? Last year's driving champions. 38 in as well, Hertz Team Jota from the lead of the race. This race could be won or lost on the pit lane by the teams. It is so close on track. Battle for 7th place in LMGT3. Valentino Rossi, the blue and yellow BMW, and Ben Barker with the Mustang can't quite hold it around the outside of the center S's. Great defensive work by the Doctor. Battle for 4th in LMGT3. Charlie Eastwood's yellow Corvette chasing down Valentin Asseclo in the number 10 car that started on pole position. That pole set, of course, by Eduardo Barrichello, and pole in Interlagos is something his dad knows all about.
It was a super moment. I tell you, it reminded me of the pole lap that I had it with the Brown in 2009, because it was a thing that the whole Brazil was pushing him, and I wasn't here because I was racing just in a place 2 hours from here. And I had the TV on in my car before I went out to qualify, and I put the car on pole yesterday with him. What a moment for the family.
Okay, so from Jenson, need to manage both left-hand side tires. Biggest place is turn 6, 7, and traction.
Yeah, don't spin the tyres up out of the slower corners. Keeping those tyres alive is going to be critical. At the moment, Hertz Team Jota caddies 1, 2. Can they keep that position to the end?
It's been a tough weekend for us in terms of finding a balance that works, especially for the 38. Great qualifying yesterday, and no, to be first and second at the moment is fantastic. You know, I led quite a few laps. We're on a different strategy to the 12 because they're pitting, I think, about 10 laps before us. So it does mean our last refueling will be shorter than the other car, but we seem to have lost kind of 30 seconds since the last pit stop, and I don't know what happened, whether it was a slow stop or something, but yeah, we're still okay, but it's a pleasure to drive the car around here. You know, it's the most I've enjoyed the car this year, and lovely to be fighting, you know, at the front.
Yuichi Nakayama in the 78 Lexus under pressure from the Iron Dames. Again, this time not Rahel Fry, it's Michelle Gatting who's in the 3rd place pink and white car. And he's seen a lot of this car in his mirrors, Nakayama. Battle for 4th place. Make that 14th place. Toyota versus Ferrari. Antonio Fuoco down the inside of Brendan Hartley. For 4th place would be understandable. 14th, both cars having a really tough time of it here in Interlagos. 2 benchmark cars of the last couple of seasons really struggling. View on board again with Antonio Fuoco sending it down the inside into the center S. This time it is job done, but still a long way from even a single point. Replay here, Fuoco on the inside, Hartley not even shutting the door. Okay, off you go. Battles on pit road all the way through. Ben Barker, 77 Mustang released, and Marino Sato comes out right behind him. They came in nose to tail, identical pit stop times, 1 minute 22 seconds for both. And if the McLaren team had been even 1 second faster, they would have gained a position in the pit lane. That's how tough this racing is.
Excellent job, Marco. Excellent job. We have 11 laps to go in this 11 laps to go, and we are going to fight with Ferrari, 50, and both Toyotas towards the end of the race. Good job so far. Good job. Keep pushing.
Great to see the Astons racing rather than just surviving. Here's the battle for 10th place, the red Ferrari 51, that's Alessandro Pierguidi and Nico Varone in the 99 Proton Porsche. They're having such a strong race, those guys, trying to get into the points here. Couldn't quite squeeze through there in traffic, but he's having another little stab at the 51 car. Must make sure he keeps this clean. You don't want to pick up a penalty with just an hour to go. Cadillac, Hertz Team Jota, 1, 2. And nearly a minute between the top 2 cars. Number 12, despite that early penalty, really having a very strong run here. Their teammates in 38 not quite close enough to give them a strong challenge, but they could make it a 1-2. However, there are 2 Porsches and 2 Peugeots behind them. Any slip up is going to cost them a fantastic result. Eighth place battle in LMGT3, the yellow Corvette Johnny Edgar right behind Marino Sato in the orange and black McLaren, and hovering right behind them Valentino Rossi in the BMW. This is a little moment down towards turn 4 as the leader comes through. Just a squeeze there, holding on to his line. Loïc Duval making what will possibly be the final stop for the 94 Peugeot. Might be running on fumes at the end of the race. They're going to brim the tank, give him fresh tyres, but there may be a splash and dash before the end of this one. Mikkel Jensen pulled arrest of the two-handed crew of the 93 Peugeot. Still in a strong top 6 position, one of the better showings this season. And in from the lead, the number 12 Caddy, again, still out of sync with the others. Can they make it without a splash at the end? That could be drama. Number 5 Porsche hits its marks for the final time, perhaps.
We're doing our best out there, and I think we have a clean race, smooth race with a good pace. The Caddy is strong, so we just have to keep fighting and hope for the best and maybe a little bit of luck.
Leader in for the final time. If this remains green, it looks like it could go Cadillac's way, but if there's a safety car, then anything might be possible as it brings the field back together. LMGT3 battle here for 4th place. There's the Corvette right in front. 33 car. And we're going around the outside with Marino Sato and the McLaren with lots of grip at 6 and 7, but no way through on the outside there. Johnny Edgar, just the tiniest little touch, a bit of dive plane flying off the McLaren as it makes contact with Johnny Edgar's Corvette. Sato rubbing it all the way around the outside. Leader in for the final stop in LMGT3. Jose Maria Lopez, former Toyota LMP1 hybrid and hypercar driver, and now the linchpin of this resurgent Lexus crew. Toyota's battling hard for position. Kamui Kobayashi ahead of Ryo Hirakawa, but it is for 14th and 15th positions. They'll be looking for more performance in Texas and in 2 races' time at home in front of the Japanese fans in Fuji. Final stop for the number 46 BMW, Valentino Rossi out, and Kelvin van der Linde gets back in. Iron Dames in from second. Final stop for them inside the last 25 minutes. Michelle Gatting topped up with fuel. Just half a tank required and she's away. Trying to come back out in front of Charlie Eastwood in the 81 Corvette. Here's your race leader in LMGT3, Jose Maria Lopez. And Michelle Gatting heading out to the pit lane on the right-hand side. There she is. Charlie Eastwood right behind. That is 2nd and 3rd, as close as you like. So who is going to end up on the podium here? Riding on board with Julian Andlauer, closing the gap to Sebastian Bourdais in the 38 Cadillac. Norman Nato nearly a minute ahead in the race lead, but this is a real threat for 2nd place. You see the gap closed down in the previous 2 laps, but opened up again in traffic. That's exactly what's happening here. Michelle Gatting in front of us, Charlie Eastwood giving chase for 2nd place in LMGT3, and he is relentlessly closing on the Porsche in front.
Information to the pit lane, information to the pit lane. Car 5151, drive-through penalty for unsafe maneuver. Car 5151, drive-through penalty for unsafe maneuver.
On board with Alessandro Pierguidi as he puts Nico Verone's Porsche on the dirt. The yellow and green Aston Martin of Eduardo Barrichello in 5th place, all over the back of Finn Gersitz in the Lexus. This is the battle for 4th place, and Barrichello on home tarmac. Battle being interrupted briefly by one of the Hertz Team Jota caddies. Here's the challenge for 2nd place from Charlie Eastwood down the inside, and Michelle Gatting The Corvette runs out a little wide, there's no contact, but he is through into second, getting down to third place inside the final quarter of an hour here in São Paulo. Big change on the podium. This is the way it worked, down into the center S, eastward on the inside. Both cars sliding around, scrabbling for grip. Battle for second place has stabilised. Sebastian Bourdais just going out of shot. There is Julian Andlauer, just around the 3-second mark between them, and Bourdais managing to keep the Porsche at bay. Now though, it's down under 2 seconds. Sheldon van der Linde down the inside of Loic Duval, change for 5th place inside the final 10 minutes. Oh, that's cruel for the Peugeot team. Duval never one to give up easily. There's Kevin Magnussen watching, and the rest of the WRT BMW team. But it looks as though van der Linde has made that top 5 finish his own. What about second place? Bourdais in traffic, being held up badly by the McLaren. We're with Andlauer. This is now not 1.2 or 3 point something seconds. This is 2 car lengths. He's within touching distance. He can hear the Cadillac's V8 thundering in front of him. Can he get close enough to snatch second place in the final moments of this race? Challenge here for position on the Iron Dames. For third place, the final podium spot, Michelle Gatting holding on with her broken foot from the Brazilian hero Eduardo Barrichello. He'll be spurred on by the thousands of fans watching as he comes around the outside. It looks like he's done it. They think he's done it as well. He has squeezed in front inside the final couple of laps. Eduardo Barrichello going the long way round out of the S's, and there's the reaction from the crowd. 1 to go at the end of this one. It is Hertz Team Jota 1-2, and has Julian Andlauer in the Porsche number 5 got anything at all to show to Sebastian Bourdais? Checkered flag awaits. Norman Nato was away on Formula E duty when Hertz Team Jota won with Porsche in Spa last year. Now he is going to bring it to the flag as Hertz Team Jota become the only team to have won with 2 different marks in Hypercar. Cadillac claim their first World Endurance Championship win, and it looks as though it is going to be a 1-2 for the brand and for the team. Norman Nato, Alex Lynn and Will Stevens claim victory, and Sebastian Bourdais is going to hang on to take second ahead of the Porsche. A 1-2 for Cadillac and Hertz Team Jota. What a result in Brazil.
Well, yeah, and first victory for me as well in Hypercar. I missed the race last year in Spa when the guy won, so congrats, guy. So now I'm really pleased for everyone, for Alex, for Cadillac, and for Jota. You know, it's a new team. As you saw, like, we did a pretty strong Le Mans, and to keep going and make progress and to be where we are today. Like, so big thanks to his two next to me and to all the team.
In a day of firsts, it's a first World Endurance Championship victory for Lexus as well. Jose Maria Lopez taking the checker in the 87 car with Clement Schmidt and Petru Umbrarescu. A huge result for the Acodis ASP team. They have turned this car from a nightmare into a dream machine. Result of the Rolex 6 Hours of São Paulo, a 1-2 for Cadillac Hertz Team Jota. Porsche Penske's number 5 car in third, the only cars remaining on the lead lap. In LMGT3, the first victory in the championship for Lexus and Acodis ASP. TF Sport taking second, Racing Spirit of Le Mans completing the podium ahead of the Iron Dames. Big cheers from the Cadillac crew. A 1-2 result. The stuff of dreams here in São Paulo. The promise they showed in Qatar at the beginning of the season has finally been realised. The Mayor of São Paulo presenting the trophies, and a huge Brazilian crowd flooding onto the pit straight to join in the celebrations. A red letter day for Cadillac Hertz Team Jota. Now can they carry that momentum past the summer break? Ferrari still leads the manufacturer standings from Toyota, but Porsche and Cadillac gaining ground here today as Ferrari and Toyota both struggled. That is it from the Rolex 6 Hours of São Paulo. Fast and frenetic with 2 first-time winners. Next time out, it is Lone Star Le Mans at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, Texas. Join us on the first weekend of September for the next installment of the thrilling 2025 FIA World Endurance Championship.